From Nina's Law, doing podcast 15 with the lovely Nicholas Kelly, who is from Ohio. And yeah, can't wait for you to hear more about him. So can I pass you over? Can I get you to speak, please, Nick?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Nicholas Kelly. Nick is fine. I am a 39-year-old male living with cystic fibrosis. I am Cleveland born and raised, so Ohio stand up. I have been through a lot of things in my life and I have seen a lot, and I'm really excited to be here and really just share that journey, share my passion, and share my purpose with you.
Great, brilliant. I think it's going to be great because there are, I imagine, many people that also have cystic fibrosis or similar conditions. They'll be very interested to hear your story. So, yeah, please tell us.
So my story. My story begins when I was 3 months old when I got diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. The interesting part about that story is not that I was sick as a child, because that's common. But the interesting part is it was actually my mother who diagnosed me. Why, you ask? It's because 39 years ago, they didn't think African Americans could have the disease, so no one would test me for it. So it was my mother who did the research, learned the symptoms, and she was the one who diagnosed me.
Why would African Americans not have cystic fibrosis?
It's not that we don't have it, it's just a primarily Eastern European disease. So you see the majority of the population that is that, but it doesn't mean that minorities can't have the disease because they do.
Of
But,
course.
minds don't always associate with something like that. Like, oh, they can't have it because they don't see it. And sadly, some of that rhetoric still exists today.
Really?
Yes.
Well, so with your mum's diagnosis in the hospital, did she said tell the doctor?
Yes, so she told everyone who would listen, till she got to the point where she was like, if you don't test my child and treat my child for this, I will go to every news outlet and say your prejudice killed my son.
Good, brilliant. Oh my gosh! So she did the best thing ever for you for getting the true diagnosis. How do you get diagnosed?
So eventually, after the fact, after she decided, they end up doing another test. They end up running another two tests, and it was able to confirm that I did have cystic fibrosis.
Wow! Oh my gosh! And that young, and they could diagnose it. So how does it affect you in your life? How has it affected you?
CF affects me in a lot of different ways. So, for those who don't know about cystic fibrosis, it is a genetic disorder that primarily affects the lungs, pancreas, and GI system. However, the things they don't tell you is that this disease affects every other part of your life, your body, your relationships. It affects them all. Because of that thick, sticky mucus that builds up in the body, it can affect all your other organs. So it's one of those situations where you have to endure so much by having cystic fibrosis in your daily life. I take, for example, 44 medications I'm responsible for a day.
Really? Is
Yep.
that? Oh my gosh! Is that? I'm just trying to think. Is it actually medical things like?
Yeah. So
Oh my
between my
gosh!
insulin shots, my albuterol lung therapy shots, my enzymes, my pancreatic enzymes, and then my normal medication, I take on average 44 meds a day. I'm responsible for 44 medications a day.
Wow! Oh my god! Is that throughout the day, or is it certain times, like in the morning?
So morning,
Afternoon?
afternoon, and evening.
Wow! What if you don't take it?
Depending on which med it is, you run into the risk of feeling it very much so. Like, for example, my pancreatic enzymes, if I don't take those, my stomach knows I don't take them. And it is a rough and
Really?
long day for me.
Oh my gosh! And does it affect by what you eat? Does that affect you?
Yes, so high protein, high fat makes it harder on the digestive system. So that's what it's harder to digest. So that's what really the pancreatic enzymes are for. Simple things, carbohydrates are digested much easier. So those have less impact on the GI system.
Right, okay. And is this why you are a dietitian as well?
So how I became a dietitian is actually not because of CF. I became a dietitian in a different way. It's actually a funny story. So my twin sister went to Bowling Green State University with me, and she was a nursing major. So she said, "Hey Nick, I'm taking this nutrition class. Will you take it with me?" And I said, "Absolutely not. I have no interest." She comes back a couple days later. It's like, "Hey, our friends are taking the class. Will you take it now?" And I said, "Absolutely not. You won't be alone." So she comes back a couple days later and says, "All right, I'll make you a deal. You take this class, and I'll basically help you do your homework and all the stuff outside of class. All you do have to show up is for class assignments." And I was like, "All right, that sounds like a good deal." So had my sister, who's a lawyer, drew it up, and I was like,
Wow.
I'll be in class the next day." I went to class the next day, and I remember sitting there and listening to Professor Dr. Jillian Wilford, Dr. Joe. He's not a dietitian, but the way he described nutrition was like the greatest puzzle I'd ever heard. I was sitting there fascinated. I walked out of class, called my mom, said, "Mom, how do you feel if I was a dietitian?" I changed my major the next day. And
Wow.
the craziest part of it, my sister hated the class so much, I ended up doing most of her work.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yep.
And do you take supplements as well?
I take vitamins. So I take vitamin supplements,
Yeah.
vitamin K, vitamin D, because my vitamin D is low. My vitamin K is sometimes low. And then I take A, D, E, and K. Those are your fat solubles. That's something that is
Yeah.
hard for CFers because we don't digest fat well.
Right, okay. Well, I because I have to take, I with my MS, I take vitamin D, the highest dosage vitamin D. I also take a few other supplements like collagen and fish oil, but that's just my choice. But I think supplements are great. If if you feel the need, do take them. They're going to help you. And obviously with CF, you need to make sure you have those supplements for sure. So I think people with CF listening to you might be able to learn a lot really. By can people contact you directly?
Absolutely. I can get contact through my website, which is nicholaskellyrd .com. My email, nicholaskellyrd @gmail.com, or any of my social medias is going to be at nicholaskellyrd. So I'm accessible. I am able and always love talking to people. I love communicating with people. So I'm always able to be reached.
Brilliant. Do many people with CF have a lot of hospital stays?
It varies. Ever since Trikafta came out, which is a modulator drug therapy, the hospitalizations have gone down. But for someone like myself who is not eligible for modulators, I spend about a third of my year in the hospital. I'm admitted about every 4 months for 31 days is my average length of stay.
Wow.
So I
Oh my
spend a
god.
lot of time in the hospital.
So when you go to the hospital, thankfully for you, you're quite fully able, which is amazing. But as people with CF, do they have difficulties in moving, or I don't know, do they have further disabilities? Do some or some not?
Yes, so we always say if you treated one person with CF, you've only treated one person with CF because it's such a snowflake disease. But you have people, it's progressive, and especially lung function is what drops over time. What happens is the thick, sticky mucus starts to collect bacteria, and that bacteria causes scarring in the lungs, which decreases lung function over time. So there are a lot of people who are on oxygen who have the inability to walk 10 feet without stops and
Really?
need breaks, and they have those symptoms. So a lot of people have different symptoms and other symptoms that are affected, a lot of GI issues, surgeries, kidney issues from all the long-term medication use, dialysis. So there's a lot of other complications that are associated with CF that make it a more debilitating disease. I was just one of the lucky ones, though I am experienced hospitalizations and I've had surgeries before. I'm still pretty healthy in the grand scheme of things.
of course. And when you go to hospital in America, it's so different to the UK. I believe you have to pay for your hospital trips, don't you?
Yes,
Am I
correct.
right? Yeah. And what if you cannot afford it? If you literally don't have the money, what happens then?
That's where a lot of people without insurance just try to avoid going to the hospital in general because they don't have insurance. And so that's the flaw in the system, that people who need help often try to avoid it because they don't have insurance to pay.
Gosh, wow. So that's quite drastic. So I suppose in the US, if you're paying for it, you are allowed your carers to go with you to hospital. Am I right in saying you can?
Uh,
Or
I've never seen carers go with their patients. Um, from what I've known, or I've never seen that from patients. It's always the hospital staff who is in there doing things like care. People can come in, bring food, bring beverages and those things, but actual caregivers, I've never seen a caregiver also inside of the hospital attached with the caregivers who are employed by the hospital.
so things like certain exercises that you may have to do. But I suppose the nurse would not be, but should be too busy, I would imagine, on a ward to be able to give the time to that one patient. Me, for example, I have certain exercises I do. I have certain drinking implements I drink out of. Would they be able to provide that for you, or would they need somebody externally to bring it in for you?
It depends. So I know for the cystic fibrosis population in the hospital, we have an amazing physical therapist named Chelsea. So she is really able to help. She walks with patients. She works out with patients. She allows
Wow.
that time. So every day, she comes in and allows each patient an opportunity to move, do their exercises.
Oh
Sometimes
wow.
just as simple as walking down the hallway, and sometimes, like for me, a lot of times it's more vigorous exercise, things that help the body move and help the body heal. So sometimes things have to be brought in from the outside. Other times they might have it inside or supplied by the hospital.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because obviously, with what I'm doing, my Nina's law, it's I'm fighting for people with complex care needs at home. If they receive care at home, my thing is that I really believe and know that people need to have continued care in the hospital, and that's what Nina's law is. And the caregivers need to continue to care for them, not drop the visits, which a lot of them do. So therefore, it needs to be written into the contract that they will continue to care for these people when they end up in hospital. One, the hospital has to allow them to go in, and two, the caregivers have to have it written into the contract that they will continue to care for them. So it's a big thing, but it will happen. I'm quite excited because it's going all the right way. So yeah, it's great. So obviously you saw me and contacted me, which is great. You must have just seen me on Instagram, maybe.
I saw you through a thing called Podpitch, and I was able to find you and then learn more about what you're doing, and learn more about your podcast. And then, I was excited to sign the petition because I believe the work you're doing. And I think a lot of more people should understand the importance of being able to have continuity of care. And that's really what it
Of
comes down to,
course,
having continuity of care throughout different
exactly.
spaces.
You've got it. You understand it completely, which is great. So I'm so grateful that you did contact me, and I'm so pleased that you can share your story on the podcast with everybody else, because I think people will contact you because you've got a lot to say, a lot of advice you can give people, which is amazing. And so, do you come to the UK very often?
I wouldn't say often, but I was actually just in London at the end of May. I mean, excuse me, end of March. End of March, I
Oh,
was there for 5 days.
okay, nice. So I suppose if people wanted to see you, they could maybe contact you by email or I don't know what sort of website?
Absolutely.
Would that
I'm able to be contacted through my website and through my email. I'm always in the opportunity for speaking, and I love being able to share my knowledge and experience. So I'm always
brilliant?
looking for opportunities to speak. I'm always looking for opportunities to collaborate and
Brilliant.
share my knowledge.
Well, you do speaking in Ohio, don't you?
I do.
You're a guest
I
speaker.
do speaking all over the country, all over the US.
Brilliant. I love that. Then you have to come to the UK and do some guest speaking here.
Absolutely. I need that. I need to experience that. That would be amazing.
That would be great. So people know how to contact you. So say it again, your website, please.
Nicholas Kelly RD. So that's Nicholas Kelly Kelly R as in registered, D as in dietitian.com. And then that's the same Nicholas Kelly RD at gmail.com.
Amazing. Brilliant. Thank you, Nick. Well, thank you so much for speaking to me today. And I hope everyone enjoys listening to you. So thank you. And yeah, I'll speak to you again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
I,
so much.
I really appreciate you having me. It was a
No,
great time and I appreciate the conversation.
thank you so much.